Okay, thanks for joining me on Voice of the Box. I have Ryan Leong. And Ryan, instead of me telling my viewers your role, would you mind describing your role in summary, what you do on NFL Sundays?
Well, you can start to see on my shirt here, it says Sirius NFL Radio, so I'm one of
I don't know if our camera person, Don Sin, can capture that, but the gentleman's wearing a Sirius NFL Network shirt today.
I'm one of the, I guess, the 30 correspondents in the various markets, or maybe there's a little less than 30 of us, that report on the NFL games, and so I do in-game updates, reporting to Sirius about what's happening in the game, like, 3 times an hour, tell them that, JT O'Sullivan so far in the game is like 5 of 10 passing for 20 yards or whatever, and maybe he's thrown an interception or a touchdown, and so just giving the listeners around the country a feel of what's going on in the game, updating them on the status of the game, maybe any key injuries that have happened or key plays after the game, get a phone guest for Sirius, and also get audio sound bites of the players that can be used for major market radio stations.
So today you're obviously working on behalf of Sirius. Over the years, and I'll get to how many years you've been doing what you do, but how many different outlets have you worked for? Or is that too hard to count?
No, let's see. Sirius is 1, ESPN Radio is 2, AP Radio is 3, CBS Radio is 4. I do work for WFAN out of New York. They're the first and probably the largest all sports talk radio station based out of New York City, so they're very well known. So I usually have like 5 or 6 different clients that I've worked for, and it's a lot of fun. The NFL is arguably the most popular sport in the country now. So far more than even though I think NBA is a very global game.
Sure.
Nothing's more popular right now in the United States than the NFL.
Now, what I try to do on Voice of the Box is try to get a little more of an educational bent, or a hey, how'd you get started type of a bent. So I'm going to ask you for whether they're college students or just people that are involved in sports. Like, God, that is a great job. How did you get started in that job? How can I get a job like that? How did you get your start, in brief? And what keeps you coming back?
First of all, what got me started was I was doing some internships back at KNBR in the mid-'90s, and so I would recommend to any college student, even if you're coming out of high school, get involved with either a station or try to, get involved in real actual experience. Don't just, watch TV and then follow the internet and think, you're some fantasy football expert, right? Because that only gets you so far. You really need to be where it's at and meet people who are kind of going to be able to get you in the forefront of things. So that would be number one. And then also the way I got my start 10 years ago, as I was working with a guy who had been a freelancer like myself, and so I was able to get, have the door open for me, which is really nice. I guess what keeps coming back is the unknown. Even though unfortunately this has been lean years for the 49ers, you just never know what you're going to see. The most memorable moment I can honestly tell you is in my first year of coverage. I remember standing on the 10-yard line on the other side of the end zone, or the other side of the field near the visitors' locker room, and watching Steve Young throw that famous pass to Terrell Owens, the catch too.
So 98 was your first year covering in the NFL.
Yeah. So that was January 99, one of the greatest moments I think I've witnessed, and a lot of 49er fans would remember that. And also watching Garrison Hurst run up the sideline after the end of a game against the New York Jets to win it for the 49ers. So I've seen a couple of memorable moments. I've seen some things maybe not so memorable, but not as eventful, but certainly memorable.
Right.
Which was recently the Al Davis press conference where he fired Lane Kiffin.
So you've seen some interesting NFL moments, as
exactly.
Kind of in summary
exactly,
there. Now, Tell me, you mentioned, I'm not sure how many reports you field actually during the game, but what are the key, I heard you say you've got to be accurate, you've got to be fast. What are the inherent challenges, and the flip side of that is, what do you like most about what you do?
I just think reporting on your particular game to the masses out there, because now again the NFL is such a game that's covered through the internet and through television that it's not a big deal anymore. I think for 60,000 people to be at the stadium. Now everybody wants to follow every game that goes on because everybody's got to know about their fantasy team, right? They got to know about their quarterback, their running back, their wide receivers, and so I think just being able to be part of that whole mix and sort of like convey the information to somebody who's not even anywhere remotely in San Francisco, right? They could be, who knows, it could be in Pittsburgh, it could be in Los Angeles, wherever. Being able to do that, I think, and just being part of the process is really fun. I think the adrenaline rush, even for yourself, I know you've been working here as the press PA announcer. You're responsible for helping us,
people like you,
people like myself, know the information, and even though
props to me,
yeah, props to you. Even though we can check it online, it's not always right, and you're a lot of times giving us the correct information, or you'll give us injury updates, and we need to know these things because people out there want to know what's going on.
I did not pay Ryan prior to this interview. Ryan, in summary, as we kind of wrap up before we're approaching kickoff today, When you first got your start, I imagine you've got nerves just like a player that's going to go out and play. They've got their nerves. What's the atmosphere like in an NFL press box for someone that's perhaps just starting opposed to where you are now? I mean, were there people to help you along? Is it a collegial atmosphere? What's it like in an NFL press box in your world on NFL Sundays?
Well, unfortunately, it's changed a lot because there have been a lot of changes with the economy, and there's not as many newspapers or media outlets that are covering football like they used to. But it's a lot quieter now, as you can see. I mean, this is one, two, three. There's like 4 rows here in the press box, and yet only really 2 of the rows are being used in this day and age. As you know, there's no cheering in the press box, but it's still, I think it's still a pretty intense atmosphere. We're all following the game very closely, and if we're not following this game, we have TVs where we're following other games right now.
Right.
So you're always kind of in the mix, and it's just, I think that's the adrenaline rush of just being in that atmosphere and an environment where we follow sports like people follow the stock market. I mean,
sure,
of course, hopefully more positive than the stock market, but
Let's hope so.
that's just part of the excitement, I think, of being here. And certainly, I cover more sports than just the NFL. But again, the NFL right now, I tell you, the popularity is just amazing how it's just exploded.
First of all, I'd like to, as we conclude, thank Voice of the Box photographer Don Sin for his nice handiwork today. Ryan Leong, NFL correspondent, thank you for taking time on Voice of the Box.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.